Good morning, everyone, and welcome here to the main ring. Whoa. Good morning, everyone, and welcome here to the main ring. We have a packed program this before noon, and the judging will start at 1 o'clock, where we start with the with the European Dog Show, and then we have Agria winner. Today we will start with DKK consultant and dog trainer Sarah, who will talk a bit about impulse control. It will be in Danish, so the first show here will be in Danish. The rest of them will be in English. Thank you, and welcome to Sarah.
Halløj. Ja, jeg skal snakke lidt omkring impulskontrol, som er grundstenen for rigtig meget hundetræning, kan man sige. Man kan sige, at det er fundamentet for al træning, fordi at impulskontrol, det er altså det her med at styre det, vi har lyst til. Så vi skal igennem en del her på en halv time, og jeg håber, at I har ørerne med jer, fordi at jeg har rigtig meget, jeg gerne vil ud med til jer. Først og fremmest, hvis man skal snakke omkring impulskontrol, så bliver man nok nødt til at snakke lidt om, hvad er det her impulser egentlig for noget? For det handler om at have kontrol over nogle impulser. Men hvad er impulserne egentlig? Jo, impulserne, det er alt det, vi har lyst til. Alt det, vi har lyst til at gøre, som vi ofte handler på. For hunde kan det være lysten til at gø. Det kan være lysten til at rulle sig i en dejlig mudderpøl. Eller gø af et ærn. Eller som hvalp, så kan det være at bide. Det kan også være at spise pizzaen på sofabordet. Så impulserne er altså alt det, hunden har lyst til at gøre. I kender det sikkert fra jer selv og fra ordet impulskøb. Det er det, som vores forretninger gør rigtig god glæde af, når det er sådan, at de putter slikket lige før, at man kommer ud og tjekker ud af den her kasse. De putter nemlig slikket der, fordi at så får vi lyst til slik, så kommer vi til at købe slik, og så tager vi det med hjem. Det er altså et impulskøb. Så impulser er altså det, vi har lyst til at gøre. Noget, som vi har instinkt til at gøre, og noget, som vi derfor kommer til at gøre. Derfor så kan det være rigtig godt at få trænet det her impulskontrol. For hunde så kan impulser, der kan være svære at styre, det kan være impulser på legetøj, det kan være impulser på mad, jagt og vand. Så det er altså de basale behov, som kan være svære at styre og have kontrol over. Så derfor så kan der være mange gode grunde til at træne det her impulskontrol. Fordi det kan give os et langt bedre indkald, fordi at når det er sådan, vi kalder hunden ind til os, så er der altså rigtig mange impulser, den skal vælge fra. Især hvis det er sådan, den er på vej hen til en eller anden hund, så skal den vælge den hund fra, som faktisk er en impuls at gå hen til den her hund. Det kan også være en god idé, hvis vi træner en eller anden form for hundesport, eller hvis vi bare godt kan lide, at vores hunde kan blive, når det er sådan, vi siger bliv til den. Fordi der er rigtig mange impulser, den skal vælge fra, når det er sådan, den skal blive i sådan en blivende position. Altså generelt kan man sige, at det er en langt større følelse af kontrol, hvis vores hund har installeret det her program, der hedder impulskontrol. Vi kan også få langt lettere til at belønne vores hund, og dermed langt lettere til at få trænet med vores hund. Man kan håndtere det her impulskontrol, eller lave det her impulskontrol på mange forskellige måder. Og I kan sikkert genkende jer selv alle sammen i dem. Jeg ved i hvert fald, at jeg kan genkende mig selv i dem alle sammen. Og jeg vil lige gennemgå de her 5 metoder, man sædvanligvis håndterer de her impulser på. Der er nemlig både slukke ildebrænde, håndtere og strafbaseret træning, lokning og it's your choice. Hvis vi tænker på det her slukke ildebrænde, så er det ofte det, man gør, når man kommer hjem til hvalpen, og den har væltet en potteplante. Så rydder man den op, og så tænker man, ej, hvor er det altså bare godt, at den her hvalp den bliver ældre, for den skal nok lære det. Så det handler om det her med bare at rydde op og tænke, luk øjnene og tænke, det går vel over af sig selv på et tidspunkt. Så det kan I sikkert genkende jer selv i på et eller andet tidspunkt, at I har gjort med jeres hunde. Så er der også det her med, at vi kan håndtere impulserne. Det er, hvis det er sådan, at vi har en hund, der altid stikker af efter en. så putter vi den bare i en snor, og så går vi altid snor med den og tager den aldrig løs, fordi at så stikker den af efter æren, og det er lidt træls. Så når vi håndterer noget, så gør vi det lidt mere besværligt for os selv, og vi justerer på den drøm, vi har haft om, hvordan det vil være af hund. Så det kan være, at vi har drømt om altid at skulle gå i skoven med vores hund løs, men det kan vi ikke, fordi den stikker af efter æren, så derfor tager vi den i en snor. Det har I sikkert også gjort med noget. Det kan være, at I har sat en børnelåge op derhjemme til, når det er sådan, I skal spise, så hunden ikke tikker. Det kan være, at I skubber hunden ned, når det er sådan, den kommer op og slikker. Det er altså, at vi laver noget om, og bare lever med det. Vi accepterer, at det er sådan, vores hund er, og ikke træner på det. Så kan vi bruge strafbaseret træning. Det kommer vi også alle sammen til i højere eller mindre grad. Det kan være, at hunden er ved at tage den her roast beef, vi lige har lavet til de her 12 gæster, vi skal have, og den er på vej op. Så kommer vi til at sige, nej Fido, det må du ikke! Så har vi strafbaseret det. Det er altså følelsen, som hunden har, hvis hunden føler, at det har været en eller anden form for straf, og det er derfor, den ikke har gjort tingene, så er det en strafbaseret metode at håndtere det på. Det kan også være, at vores hund den går i snus, og vi hiver den med. Det er også strafbaseret. Eller putter den i bur. Alt skal ud, hvis det er noget, hunden føler, som skal ud, så er det altså strafbaseret. Så kan vi også lokketræne. Det vil altså sige, hvis det er sådan, at hunden er ved at tage roastbeefen på sofabordet, hvis vi så har så meget luft i maven, at vi kan sige, ej Fido, jeg har faktisk en frikadelle herhenne i stedet for. Så vi viser et alternativ til hunden, som hunden lige laver en cost-benefit-analyse og siger, okay, det vil jeg gerne have. Så har vi lokkebaseret det. Der er også mange, der kommer til at gøre det i et indkald. For eksempel mig heroppe på billedet, hvor at hunden graver efter mus. Så finder jeg lige legetøjet frem og siger, jamen jeg har faktisk et stykke legetøj, kunne du ikke tænke dig at vælge det? Og så siger hunden, mus, som jeg sandsynligvis ikke kan tage, legetøj, mus, legetøj. Så når det er sådan, vi lokketræner, så skal vi altså have en eller anden form for belønning, der kan matche det, som hunden ellers er ved at vælge. Så det er lokning. Så er der It's Your Choice, og It's Your Choice er nok det, som jeg kommer til at snakke mere om, eller det er det, jeg kommer til at snakke om i resten af oplægget. It's Your Choice, det er, at vi installerer det hos hunden selv. Det bliver hundens eget sådan, ansvar at vælge træffe de rigtige valg. Så vi laver det til hundens egen idé, og træffe de her valg, ikke at gå på sin impuls. Det lyder jo rigtig magisk, og det er faktisk mega befriende, fordi det fjerner en del ansvar fra os. Det er relationsbaseret træning, og det er, hvor vi håndterer omgivelserne og bygger det lige så langsomt op, sådan lidt lag på lag-agtigt. Det her billede, det er et trofæ over, at It's Your Choice-træningen den har fungeret. Det er min lille søn på godt et år. Han havde fået et pølsehorn, og så var han gået ud på en terrasse med det. Og så havde han sat sig, og så var vores 3 hunde kommet derud. Min venindes 2 og min hund kom derud, og de stillede sig og valgte det der pølsehorn fra. De kunne i princippet bare gå hen og tage det ud af hans mund, eller tage det ud af hans hånd, men det gør de ikke, fordi de vælger det fra. De stopper op og kigger på det. Og da jeg kom ud, der har han siddet sådan i et stykke tid. Vi stod og betragtede ham lidt på den anden side af sådan en terrassedør et stykke tid. Og de stod bare sådan her, for det havde de valgt. Det var ikke noget med strafbaseret at gøre. Det var bare deres valg, at de ikke gjorde det. Så det skal altså være hundens egen idé. Det er en mægtig vigtig nuance, at det er hunden selv, der vælger det. Så det bliver It's Your Choice. Det er altså meget sådan, inspireret af Susan Garrett og Absolute Dogs, det her, bare lige sådan, så vi lige får den med. Hvorfor er det, at vi ikke skal sige nej? Fordi det er bare så meget nemmere at sige, nej, du må ikke tage pølsehornet, eller pizzaen, eller hvad det kunne være. Grunden til, at det ikke er os, der skal sige nej, men at vi ligesom skal bruge noget tid på, at det skal være hunden, der skal træffe de her valg, det er altså fordi, at lige så snart det er os, der siger nej, så hvis vi ikke er til stede, så tænker hunden, okay, den der betingelse for, at jeg ikke må gøre det, den er der ikke. Altså, mit menneske er der ikke, så kan jeg jo lige så godt gøre det. Så når det er sådan, at det bliver på vores nej og på vores initiativ, så er det kun, når vi er til stede, at hunden træffer de rette valg. Og derudover, så gør det her med, at det er vores initiativ, at de ikke skal gøre tingene. Det gør også, at vi skal være langt mere på stikkerne. Vi skal hele tiden sørge for, er der et ærn? Er der et ærn? Nej, okay. Skal jeg kalde min hund til mig nu? Nej, det skal jeg ikke. Okay, super. Fordi at vi skal være mega meget på. Men har vi installeret det her program, altså impulskontrol, ind i vores hunde, så er det, at det er hunden selv, der ser et ærn, tjekker tilbage til os og siger, hvad skal vi så? Og det bliver så meget mere befriende og langt mere roligt at være sammen med vores hunde. Så vi skal altså have en ansvarsfordeling, hvor vi propper noget af det her ansvar ned til hunden, i stedet for at have det på vores skuldre. Vi skal gøre det gennem en masse relationsbaseret træning, og så skal vi have sådan den her tankegang om, at vores egne idéer er det bedste. Og det er det altså også ved hunden. Jeg vil fortælle jer en lille anekdote om min mand. Han ved godt, jeg fortæller den. Men det var sådan, at dengang, at vores børn var små, så gik jeg altid og sagde til min mand, når vi skal ud i regnvejr, så skal du putte de her regnbukser ud over gummistøvlerne. Det gjorde han aldrig. Og så tænkte jeg, han skal have det som sin egen idé. Så en dag, der skulle vi alle 5 ud på tur, altså vores 2 børn, vores hund og min mand og jeg. Og jeg lod min mand putte børnene i tøjet. Da vi kommer hjem, og det regner helt vildt den dag. Da vi kommer hjem, så går jeg tilfældigvis på toilettet. Og min mand skal så tage tøjet af vores børn. Og da jeg kommer ud fra toilettet, så kommer min mand sådan lidt sådan hen til mig og sådan, Sara, vi skal altså huske at putte de her regnbukser ud over gummistøvlerne, for jeg har lige måttet skifte begge børnenes bukser og strømper, og jeg må hænge de her gummistøvler til tørre, fordi vi ikke har puttet regnbukserne ud over gummistøvlerne. Og jeg bare sådan, ja, det var da en god idé, skat. Det skal jeg nok prøve at se, om jeg ikke kan huske. Det har så resulteret i, at hver gang vi er gået ud i regnvejr siden, så har min mand lige været henne og tjekket. Okay, du har puttet regnbukserne ud over gummistøvlerne. Det var godt, skat. Så det blev hans idé, det her med regnbukserne. Til trods for, at jeg havde gået og sagt det til ham i så lang tid. Så da det blev hans egen idé, så løftede han ansvaret for det og gjorde det. Det er det samme med vores hunde. Hvis vores hunde tænker, det er min idé at vælge ærnet fra, så jeg skal lige tjekke ind til mor eller far og se, om det er en god idé, det her. Så begynder de at løfte den opgave, og begynder at vokse med opgaven. Yes. Så det, der er pointen med det her med at lege It's Your Choice Games, det er, at vi skal træne til situationen og ikke i situationen. Vi kommer ofte til at tænke den her tanke om, jamen jeg kan jo ikke træne på det der med, at min hund ikke kan koncentrere sig omkring andre hunde, eller stikker af efter æren, eller stikker af efter rådyr. Fordi jeg kan jo ikke træne det, når det er sådan, hvordan skal jeg kunne sætte et rådyr op, sådan så jeg kan få det trænet. Men det er ikke det, det handler om. Det handler om, det er at lave en masse små øvelser, så hunden lærer den her impulsive følelse at kende. Så hunden lærer det her at kende med, det her har jeg lyst til, men jeg vælger det fra. Og den ligesom lærer den følelse at kende. Han kan gøre igennem en masse lege. Yes. Der er hovedsageligt 3 metoder, vi kan træne det her på. Og det er ved at fjerne fristelsen, ved at belønne i tide, eller ved at køre udslukning. Og det kan vi altså gøre gennem de her lege. Hvis det er sådan, vi skal fjerne fristelsen, så er det, at vi neutralt ikke giver hunden adgang til det, den har lyst til. Det kunne være, at vi havde en bøtte med godbidder, som jeg har på billedet herhenne til venstre. Så kan jeg lige så neutralt sætte hånden over godbidderne, og så kan hunden vælge det fra af sig selv. Så bliver det dens egen idé, at den vælger det fra, fordi den kan jo ikke komme til dem. Men den tror, det er dens egen idé, at den vælger den fra. Og så på den måde lærer den, at når jeg har lyst til noget, hvis jeg vælger det fra, så kan det være, at jeg får det. Det samme, hvis det er sådan, at vores hund gerne vil ud af døren, så kan jeg bare lige så neutralt lukke døren, hvis min hund er på vej ud af døren. Så kan jeg bare lige så langsomt lukke den til, indtil min hund selv har valgt den helt fra. Så kan jeg åbne den og give den lov til at komme ud. Så den ligesom lærer i løbet af hverdagen at vælge en masse små impulser fra, en masse små lystbaserede valg, som den lige stopper op og tænker sig omkring. Man kan også belønne i tide. Det vil sige, at vi altså tager de her briller på, hvor vi lægger mærke til alt det, vi har lyst til, hunden gør. Det kan ske, at vi godt kunne tænke os en hund, der lå lige så stille og roligt på en skovtur på et tæppe. Så belønner vi lige så snart hunden ligger på det her tæppe. Sådan så, at vi ligesom får øje på alt det, hunden gør, som vi gerne vil have. Fordi ofte så får vi de her fejlfinderbriller på, og så når det er sådan, at jeg har nogle kursister, så siger de, jeg vil ikke have, hunden trækker. Men det er bare sådan, at vi ikke kan få ikke. Der er nemlig Hella Jufs pizzaregel, og Hella Jufs pizzaregel er fantastisk, når det er sådan, vi snakker hundetræning. Fordi vi kan som sagt ikke få ikke. Vi kan ikke ringe til pizzamanden og sige, halløj pizzamand, jeg vil ikke have en pepperoni pizza. Så kommer pizzamanden måske med en skinkepizza. Men det jeg havde allermest lyst til, det var en kebab med salat og dressing og ekstra ost. Så jeg kan altså ikke sige ikke, for i det øjeblik jeg siger ikke, så tænker pizzamanden, wow, jeg har mange hylder at vælge på, og det gør jeg så. Men så er der bare større sandsynlighed for, at vi vælger forkert. Så når det er sådan, at jeg skal træne det her impulskontrol, og jeg skal træne min hund til noget, jeg gerne vil have, så bliver jeg nødt til at være meget specifik på, hvad jeg gerne vil have. Jeg vil gerne have en pizza med kebab, ekstra ost og salat og dressing. Jeg skal være så specifik, som jeg overhovedet kan, for så er der større sandsynlighed for, at jeg får det, jeg gerne vil have. Så vi skal altså tænke lidt i alternativ adfærd. Fordi I kan godt høre, når det er sådan, jeg siger, jeg vil ikke have, at min hund trækker. Jeg vil ikke have, at min hund tager toiletpapiret. Jeg vil ikke have, at min hund gør, når der er sådan, der kommer gæster og løber ud til døren. Så bliver jeg altså nødt til at tænke i alternativ adfærd. Så når det er sådan, der kommer gæster, hvad vil jeg så have, min hund skal gøre? Jeg vil have, den finder hen i kurven. Så kan jeg belønne den for at ligge i kurven. Så kan jeg belønne den for, når det banker på, at den går hen i kurven. Så kan jeg belønne den for, når det er sådan, den kommer nogen ind, at den ligger i kurven. Så er jeg meget specifik på, hvad er det, jeg gerne vil have, og få belønnet det, for eksempel i kurven. Yes. Når det er sådan, vi snakker hunde og mennesker, så er det, at det, og især det her med impulskontrol, så er det, at det er en meget vigtig faktor, at vi mennesker og hunden adskiller os på et bestemt punkt. Nemlig, at vi mennesker er enormt gode til at generalisere, og hundene er enormt gode til at diskriminere. Det er derfor, at hunden er menneskets bedste ven. Vi er så gode til at generalisere, at når vi lærer at snakke, så kan vi sige, at det er en hund, selvom det er en chihuahua. Vi kan sige, at det er en hund, selvom det er en Grand Danois. Vi kan altså se, at det er en hund, til trods for, at hunden er den art, der varierer allermest. Vores hunde er gode til at diskriminere. De er gode til at tage det, der stikker ud fra tingene. Hvis vi har en border collie, så kan den finde det får, der halter ud af 500 får. Den kan altså finde det får, der er lidt mærkeligt. Hvis vi har en vogterhund, kan den finde skillende venner fra fjender. Bare på den måde, vi siger hej på. Hvis vi har en søgehund af en eller anden slags, det kunne være en specialsøgehund, eller en bombesøgehund, eller en narkohund, så kan de finde små gram narkotika i en kæmpemæssig lufthavn. De er altså gode til at finde det, der stikker ud. Og derfor, den information, den er mega vigtig, når vi snakker impulskontrol. Fordi når vi snakker impulskontrol, så bliver vi nødt til at træne det på mange forskellige måder. Så det kan godt ske, at vores hund godt kan lade madskålen være, når vi stikker den ned foran dem. Men kan den så, hvis det er i en glasskål? Eller kan den det, hvis det er i en tallerken? Så vi altså laver det på så mange forskellige måder som muligt, og ikke bliver ved med at lave det samme igen og igen. For så er det, at det bliver et partytrick. Jeg ved ikke lige, hvor det slide blev af. Perfekt. Fordi så kan det gå hen og blive lidt et partytrick. Sådan lidt grisehandler Olof Larsen, det er en tysker, nu er det en dansker. Sådan at det er noget, vi kan i et bestemt setup. Men hvis det er sådan, vi træner det her impulskontrol på så mange forskellige måder som muligt, så lærer hunden at diskriminere og genkende den her følelse af, det her har jeg lyst til, men jeg vælger det fra. Og det er det, vi skal have hunden til at genkende, og det er det, vi skal have hunden til at øve sig i, for det, man øver sig i, det bliver man god til. Fantastisk. Det virkede da lige før. Ja. Gider du trykke på computeren, Rikke? Ja, så det der sådan var opsummeringen på mit oplæg her, det er, at impulskontrol, det er altså en kæmpe del af grundtræningen. Det er fundamentet for træningen. Det er det her med at kunne styre sig selv og give os noget kontrol og skabe samarbejde. Ikke at det er os, der bestemmer, men at vi arbejder sammen. Og man kan altså træne det her hele hundens liv, og det kan give mening at blive ved med at generalisere på det hele hundens liv. Se det som relationsbaseret træning. Se det som en hyggelig stund sammen med din hund. Fordi det er mega sjovt at træne, og der findes enormt mange øvelser, man kan lave med det her. Og så er der bare at sige tak til jer, der sad her og lyttede med. Der kommer meget mere på programmet senere.
In about a 10 minutes time, we will have the Dutch Shepherds. They will come and show a bit about IGB, which is a combination of obedience, tracking, and protective work. So it's often called police dog training. And we see dogs like the German Shepherd, the Dutch Shepherd, Malinois, the Boxer, is very often in this kind of dog sports. And today they will talk a bit about the breed and afterwards show some IGP. So it's going to be quite exciting. So we have about a 5 minutes break and then we'll be back on. And we are back again, and this time it's the Dutch Shepherd. They're going to talk a bit about the breed and show us what they are excellent at. So Charlotte, take it.
Good morning, everyone here in the ring and at home. We are here to show our breed today. And many people don't know this breed, so we would like to tell you a little bit about the story about the Dutch Shepherd. This breed originates in the 18th century in the rural Dutch areas, and that is what's now known as the Netherlands. Their primary job was to be farm dogs and to herd different livestock. And the Dutch Shepherds were able to be shown at dog shows in the late 1800s, and that led up to the first breed standard being developed in June 1898. So this is a relatively old breed. Prior to the Second World War, the Dutch Shepherd was also welcomed and used as dogs in service for the Dutch army. Despite the increase in popularity in both late 1800s and 1900s, the Dutch Shepherd is still considered a rare breed today because of their near extinction caused by World War II. So many Dutch Shepherds either died of starvation or died in combat. And some bloodlines came to a halt because of lack of breeding. So these days, thankfully, the Dutch Shepherd Breed Club in the Netherlands, they are doing a great job at getting this breed back to life. So today in the ring, as you can see, we have a few different species. The Dutch Shepherd is a medium-sized dog, middleweight and well-muscled. It's a powerful and athletic type of dog. Their carriage is natural and relaxed, but alert. And it's a dog with a lot of endurance and lively temperament, and they are very intelligent. The Dutch Shepherd has a base color that's golden or silver, and then they're brindle, as you can see. They can vary from light sand color to chestnut red, and we actually have all three colors in the ring today. So you can see the different color variations. The brindle may be black or dark brown, and it must be clearly present all over the body. And a small amount of white is allowed on their feet or on their chest, and a black mask is preferred. So the Dutch Shepherd also come in three different hair types. Today we only have the short-haired Dutch Shepherd in the ring, but they also exist as long-haired, as we show in the presentation here. The long-haired coat is made up of straight, thick hair that can be harsher to the touch, and the same woolly undercoat. The rough-haired coat is dense, with the undercoat all over the body except for the head. And as you can see, these dogs are exceptional for colder climates, and they're very beautiful. The short-haired Dutch Shepherd is not only the only type, there's also the rough-haired, and they look a little bit different, but they are still Dutch Shepherds. And they are very dense-coated, and the coat is very harsh. But they are also very, very beautiful dogs. So today we are here with our short-haired Dutch Shepherds. We are a small club with relatively few members. I think we are counting around 30. So today, having these many people in the ring is a great achievement. And we choose the Dutch Shepherd because of the intelligence and the ability to do many different sports. And that can be search and rescue, agility, herding, nose work, IGP, biathlon, rally, you name it. These dogs can do it all. The Dutch Shepherd can also be a great family pet if you meet their needs, but this is not a couch potato, so these dogs need to be mentally and physically stimulated in order to have a good life. The dogs we have here in the ring today, almost all of them are used for the sport IGP, which is a working dog test which you can compete in as a sport. And the IGP program consists of 3 disciplines where you get points for each discipline. And you need 100 points in each discipline to score the highest marks. So we have a few very skilled dog handlers here today that will show some of the obedience. The first discipline is tracking, where the dog needs to find items in a calm, relaxed manner. And the second part is obedience, where, as you can see now, the dog must be focused on the handler. They must show energy, enthusiasm, and they have to perform the tasks quickly and precisely. This is a very difficult discipline because you need to have a great relationship with your dog in order to show this kind of precise obedience with lots of enthusiasm and energy. So the dog and handler we have in the ring now has been to the World Championship for Dutch Shepherds as a participant. So this is one of the most skilled handlers we have in our club. During the obedience program in IGP, you will have 2 dogs on the field at the same time. One dog must be in a down stay, while the other dog is doing the obedience. So for us, it's very important that our dogs can focus on us while working and not get distracted by anything. In the obedience program, there will also be shots fired to test the dog's nerves. We do all our training in a positive manner. We use treats, balls, whatever makes the dogs happy. So the second dog handler we have in the ring has also been participating at the World Championship with her old dog. This is a younger dog that is not quite as trained as the first one we saw. So, but we have great hopes for their career. And yeah, I think they are going for the World Championship again sometime. One of the exercises in the obedience program is the healing. This is a very difficult moment in the obedience program. It takes a lot of focus. And another exercise in the obedience program is different positions and different speeds. Which shows the dog's focus on the handler. The dog must be right outside the handler's knee all the time. In the obedience program, you're not allowed to praise the dog or give them any rewards, but today, since this is a younger dog, we think she needs a little prize for her work. Another exercise in the obedience program is the fetching of an item. This can also be very difficult because it's towards the end of the program where you have been working with your dog for quite a long time. So this is the only reward there is in the program. So many dogs have a very hard time controlling themselves. Yes, and they just get so happy when they get their rewards. So the last part of the IGP program is the protection part. This is a very difficult discipline because you need to have full control of your dog while they're in a high drive. So related to the first session in this ring about impulse control, this is the same. But here we really push the dogs to the limit because they love catching the bad guy. This program used to be a test for police and working dogs. So in the protection part, the dog needs to show that they are obedient, that they are aware of the bad guy, that they will listen to the handler, and that they will act independently if the bad guy is trying to run away. So in a moment, we will have 2 dogs in the ring. Bare her altså. Den vej. So this equipment is a blind. In the highest level of IGP, there will be 6 blinds in the field. The dog must go and look in all of them for a bad guy that they need to guard when they find him. And this is also very difficult because most dogs, they do know where the bad guy is. He's always in the last blind, but the handler must show that they can direct the dog no matter what. So yeah, we have our bad guy. He's actually a nice guy that will go and hide in the blind. And as you can hear, the dogs are already very excited because this is the part they love the most. The dog must go in and guard the bad guy, and they must release the guy when the handler tells them to. The dog must also show that it independently can stop the man if he's trying to run, but they cannot go and take a grip in this equipment he has on his arm unless he's moving. So as long as he's passive, the dog will just watch him. But if he's trying to get away, then the dog will stop him. So in this exercise, they test the dog's courage to pursue the man, and also when he's turning around and facing the dog must keep a calm grip and keep fighting. The most important thing about the temperament of these dogs is that you can take them in and they can be in a very high state of drive, but afterwards they have a very good off button. So you can go and pet this dog afterwards. There's no aggression or no excitement. And we would actually like to invite people to come and meet our Dutch Shepherds if you want to. We will be down in the corner of this ring at the end of our presentation. So now we're going to do a quick switch because I have my very young dog here today, and I'm taking this as a training opportunity. So this dog is only 9 months old.
This dog is a very young dog. So she's learning. And we try to keep it very positive for the dog so the dog can grow. As you can see, Mads is laying on the floor. So the dog feels very powerful and not intimidated. She needs to learn that she is strong and tough and confident, because we need that in IGP. Nobody wants to look at a sad dog. So positive reinforcement makes very powerful dogs. As you can see, she was trying to pull a little bit at the sleeve, and the helper released the sleeve to enforce the dog's power. So when you work hard, you get rewarded and you get the sleeve, which is the prey for the dog. Thank you very much, Charlotte.
Super musse. Det var godt. Ja. Ui.
Det må du gerne, hvis du vil med Viber. And then we have the last dog. Just a second. I got my hands full here. Oh, I can use that one. Dina? Yes, the remote. Thank you. Okay, just a second then. Well, like Charlotte said, we are a very small club, but we are treating each other like one big family. It's very important for us to be a very, not large dog club, but a very social and very nice and welcoming for our new members. And Dina and her dog isn't doing IGP, but she's very happy to come and show you what a brindle, silver brindle dog looks like. And this time we have Klaus and Viper. Hvor fanden er det henne? Oh, just a second. We need the sleeve. Who took the sleeve? Den der. Ui. Skal jeg gå ind med den? So we just forgot that the helper didn't have a sleeve, and the dog got confused. Viper is an IGP3 dog, and she has a very confident bark and hold. The judges likes to see some dominance in the dog, and continuously barking. It needs to be like a beat, you know, like oh, 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 yes. That's great. Look, she's very confident in the blind. She's telling Mads, if you move, I will get you. And now he's doing the recall from the blind, where the dog needs to go to the handler. And then he just give her the sleeve as a reward for a great outcall. Yes. And Viper is a very, very eager dog. She likes this game, as you can tell. I'm so excited. This is not a normal environment for the dogs either, so it's great practice for us to come in here. As you can see, the floor is a bit slippery for the dogs when they try to get after the helper. So that too can put a little pressure on the dogs, but Viper does it very nice. She likes to fight. And that's for all for now. We are going to be down in the corner with some flyers if anyone is interested to meet the dogs or hear a little bit more about the breed. They are welcome to come and ask us some questions. But in the VIP corner, we are. Okay, thank you very much.
intelligent auto og manuel.
Okay.
Se, der sker lidt.
Ja.
Ikke også? Så jeg tror, at du skal prøve lige at køre på IA.
Ja.
Og så kan du se, hvis nu at den begynder at se helt anderledes ud, jamen, så bare lige slå den over på manuel. Også.
Ja.
Hvad hedder det? Jo, så har vi derovre.
Ja, det er indgang derovre.
Det der, ikke?
Ja.
Og det ser faktisk ud til, den kan nu. Fordi før der blev det sådan helt... Altså, så mistede du skarphed og alt muligt på det. Og hvis du gør det, jamen, så gå over på noget andet.
Okay.
Ikke også? Fordi det er der ingen grund til at vise.
Nej.
Så bare gå over på noget andet.
Ja.
Så når du går fra den, så altid stil den på et eller andet, vi kan bruge.
Ja, lige præcis. Jeg synes bare, det ser fint ud, det der.
Ja, og det kan du bare... det kan være nede i den anden der, det kan være op i den anden ende. Det er bare sådan et eller andet, der kan bruges.
Ja, ja.
Okay.
Super.
In just about 10 minutes, we will have Christian Hembo from MACTA. He's a certified canine rehabilitation practitioner. And we'll talk a bit about how to keep your dog fit for the ring. So in about 10 minutes, we will be back on track.
Hvad siger du? Hvis du laver sådan noget fuldfigur, ja, faktisk, så laver jeg går her. Ja, kommer on. Så går jeg lidt tættere på, så tror jeg, du kunne fange ham fra højre, så jeg tror, jeg blokerer fra vores ven derovre. Ja.
er nødt til at gøre et eller andet.
Hello again, everyone, and a very welcome to Christian from Magta that's gonna talk a bit about how to keep your show dog fit. So welcome, Christian. Take it away.
Thank you, Rikke. And I'm happy to be here in Herning at the Eurodog Show. We're going to talk about conditioning to perform. Here we'll talk a lot about show dogs, but we will talk about dogs in general. It will also be to prevent injuries, and I think Agria will be happy about that. A small talk about myself. I am a chiropractor and a certified canine rehabilitation practitioner, a physio actually. Have a vet clinic, vet rehabilitation clinic here in Denmark, and not a lot about me, but this is more or less that. This is how my daily work is, and this is actually real time. This is totally what is happening. Or maybe not. What we should talk about today is to condition to perform. So we want to be at our very best at the moment we have to perform as show dogs or guide dogs. Now we just say some IGP dogs. So what I will talk about is, in this first half, is a lot about posture. Because your posture will tell you everything. And you know that as an owner of a show dog, because you can see a lot in the posture. So posture is how the body is balanced. So how you stalk, how you stand, how you relax, how comfortable you are. So posture should be and look very comfortable, relaxing. It should feel nice, it should look nice. It always should be using minimal energy. So when you stand, you just stand and relax. That's the plan. If you can't stand and relax, you can't walk and relax, you can't move, you can't trot, you can't gallop, you can't do whatever you're meant to be. So relaxing in a neutral position is key to everything about movement, skeleton movement, everything about movement and energy use. So if we take it in a term, we'll say that posture is an accumulation of adaptation and compensation from injury and habits. Habits can be the place you sleep. You'll always be in a not neutral position in one way or another. And injuries can be if you are a small Chihuahua playing with a big fat Labrador, and Labrador is always running into the Chihuahua, so it's rollover. So the small injuries we will get because of the environment and the life we are living will be equal to the way we stand, the way we relax, the way our posture is. Posture allows the body to balance and function effectively. Maybe. Because we all have some history, we all have some damage, we all have some things, some movement, some lack of movement maybe. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next small time. I like you all to think like an engineer. If the right rear wheel is flat on a Formula 1 car, it can't perform. If some of the small parts, technical parts in a car, in a Formula 1 car, in whatever, in this camera, not working, nothing will work. So that's the same with the dogs and with us. If you have some ligaments, some joints, something have lack of motion, you will not move right either way. Ideal posture. There is no ideal. There's no normal. But we like to have something as close to perfect as possible. But there's no perfect, because we all have something in our body that doesn't move as much as it should be, or maybe more than it should be. We rarely do have dogs with a perfect posture. Rarely is almost never. I'm not sure I have seen it. And I see about 3,000-4,000 dogs a year. The dog must balance the force of gravity to allow for balanced muscle function. So if there's something in our, let's just say, spine, that's not in normal movement, and you are just like me, maybe a little overweight, then the gravity will force you to not move in a normal way. This is a dog. I have made the drawing myself. I'm sorry. Stable configuration, stable core muscle. That's what we're going to talk about a lot in this conditioning of dogs, will be core muscles and core movement. This dog, the core muscles can cope with gravity, with the weight, with inner organs. So this dog is in balance. It doesn't look like way because I'm poorly by drawing. But this dog is in normal position, not in an awkward way. Everything is normal. Everything is relaxed, like it should be. The next picture I'll show you, I have changed the drawing a bit. This one is, we will in the ring here that it's a little long, it's a little the top losing its top line. Yes, it's losing its top line because the condition is not right, the movement is not right. So everything will be off in some way, and it will be a bad circle, just making everything worse. So effect of gravity cannot be neutralized in this dog. And That's one of the main problems in show dogs, that they can maintain the gravity force, not only in the spine as we see here, but all over the place. We took the spine because it's easy to show and easy to adapt, and quite easy to train. But we'll get back to that in a minute. Stiff or stable. Dynamic stability is stability in motion. We see a lot of dogs at the show who look gorgeous when you see them in the stands, and the judges love them, and when they start to move, everything falls apart. And if they move a little, maybe they can still adapt, but at some point they will lose the core, they will lose their stability. Stiffness provides resistance to move, so at some point in the first couple of meters, amount of meters, it will be able to adapt. But at some point, you will lose your core and you will have restriction of movement. The stiffer we are, the less stable we are in movement. We can be stable when we stand, but it will be a bad circle we were in, so we'll be worse and worse. So at some point we will not be able to balance in the stance either. Stiffness can be used as a short-term coping strategy to minimize pain. If you have a joint, let's take a hip joint, when you move like this, it will be normal. If you have less movement because of pain, you have a bad hip, you can't have all range of motion. At some point you will minimize your range of motion to avoid pain, and that will make you stiff in either joints, because you will use another joint to solve the problem. And that will be self-defeating in the long term, because it will be possible in short term, but when you have been around the ring in 5-8 times, then you'll beginning to avoid the pain, you'll beginning to limp maybe, you'll beginning to not be in balance. It will not be a beautiful movement, it will be probably awful in some way. And that's important, and then it's important that we adjust these things, because we can't have dogs winning not in normal positions of movement. So stiffness or stable, some will be cheated by the dogs will be stable in stance position, but will lose it when they are going to move. So you'll see the stiffness, not the beauty, big range of motion, airy movements. And we buy a puppy, and often the stability and the balance will be normal. But where did they go? Some lose it because of inactivity. Some lose it because of obesity, just like me. Some don't move a lot, so they have a poorly exercise regime. So if you don't use your joint in all positions, it will lose movement. So you'll have a lack of range of motion. So if you are a dog, normally you should gallop a lot. So you'll lose all your range of motion on your hip joint, on your back, on your lumbar region, on your chest and everything. But you don't gallop. You live in a small area by the house and you don't get walks, you don't do anything. Maybe you get walk, but you don't get in a galloping position, so you don't use the whole range of motion. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. That's the fact. So poorly exercise regime, and it's pretty easy to cope with and to get. So as we talked about early on, the lack of range of motion can be because of pain in full range of motion. So you reduce your range of motion to avoid pain. There are also some genetics in this, because we have some dogs in every race of this exhibition, which is genetically have less range of motion than will be ideal. It can be poorly built, which is the same as bad genetics. So there are a lot of reasons to end up with losing stability. And maybe it never was there. Maybe it was never there in the first place. Maybe you bought the dog with the bad genetics, with the bad builds, so you'll never have had it. These dogs are, of course, maybe not impossible to come into normal posture, but almost impossible, probably. If we look at what is more endurance and what is more strength, everybody train endurance. Make the dog run 3 kilometers in a leash by the bike, because we don't want to run. And that's a good thing. But almost everything we do with dogs in Denmark is about strength. If you take an agility dog, which is up on the top, a lot of people think that it's about endurance. You have to keep up the pace, keep up the pace, keep up the pace. But an agility field will be around 220 meters. And if we look at the Olympics at the athletic stadium, the 200-meter runners will be built like bodybuilders. They'll be built like big bodies, big arms, big chest, big legs. They'll be extremely quick on 100 meters, 200 meters, maybe long jump they'll be good at. 800 meters, they couldn't run 800 meters, yes, but not good. And if we see the long sprinters who run 10 kilometers, they are small, very, very slim people with small legs and small bodies. They don't carry weight. So what you're doing is important to know what you have to train. And almost every dog in this country should train strength. And all they do is train endurance. And all that will disagree with me, I'll be here, punch you in the face when you don't listen, and I'll tell you why. But further on. Now we will show 3 exercises to build core muscles. There's a lot of other good training sessions, but we have picked 3 just to adapt with this feature. And poor Fred, we were in dog training class together. He never got past begging. Begging is an exercise where you just sit on your butt with your legs in a neutral position, front legs in neutral position, and just sit like this. And poor Fred didn't get past it. Maybe because of bad genetics. This is one of my dogs, 7-month-old Bernese mountain dog. core stability is actually proven to be potential with a longer life. So longevity will be equal to core center muscle building. This exercise I do with my dogs, and I do it very, very young. A lot of people think, when can you start? And the next picture will probably tell what my opinion is. This is my wife and the same dog. I think it's 10 weeks, 15 weeks, about that. And the task is to get the dog to sit on its butt in a neutral position like this for 15 seconds. When it can do that, we want to change the regime to 3 times 15 seconds. And when that is possible, we will change the surface so it will be not flat, but in a position where the dog have to adapt with it in some way or another, in front, in back, in side, in everything. And when it's able to cope with that in 3 times 15 seconds, then we will change to starting to push the dog. So when it's sitting there, you'll push the dog so it will be in a not neutral position, and the core muscle will have to bring it back to normal. And then when it's back to normal, we push in another way or another way. Just to keep on training these small intrigue muscles who should stabilize the whole center, and in that way making the whole body work efficiently. When you're good at this, 3 times 15 minutes in an uneven surface with daddy doing bad things to you, then you'll be able to change the regime to do some, I have done it with some tires and a platform. You can do it with a fisher ball, you can do it with a cushion from the couch or whatever. But when you're going to this level of exercise, you have been doing this for, I'll say, more than a half a year, I think. And now we're getting there. So this exercise is very easy to use. Maybe if you have an older dog, it can be hard to teach, hard to learn, because it's maybe not a position the dog ever have been in. I think there have been some training guides this morning in this area, and they will use, I'm not a training guy, I don't know about training, I know about exercise. So use whatever necessary to get this working for you, and just keep on, make it more difficult. Make a lot of success, so make the dog have a success feeling, and make this should be a happy place to be. So work. This is the only way forward. The bad thing about this is when you meet your dog and you have something, they will always do this afterwards. I have 5 Bernese Mountain Dogs doing this in the mornings in the kitchen. I'll make a picture sometimes. The next exercise we will look at will be this one. A devil in disguise. It's always easier to introduce these kinds of exercise when the dog is young, is small, because they are much easier to cope, to handle, to teach these kind of things. I want the dog to lie on its back, relaxing, and then eat a cookie here, just like the one in the picture, the same dog as earlier. So what we're doing now is we're doing this kind of exercise, and I like to do the same as before. Teach is small and easy. When you get to, I'm not think you're getting to 15 seconds because it's a hard exercise. I've seen someone getting to 15 seconds, but even the most hungry Labrador won't have cookie number 3 in this exercise, because it's a very hard exercise, but a good exercise. I did it with this dog when it was a puppy, and it's looking like this, the exercise. So just teach the dog to be on its back. Teach the dog just to stretch, and now it should be keep on running this video. So praise the puppy just to do the right exercise the right way, and then make it harder and harder to get the cookie. When this dog is 7 months old, I took a new video, and it's my wife doing the exercise, and the dog didn't want to do the exercise. This is the 3rd time she's doing it, and she didn't want to do it because it's hard. It's a tough exercise. So no thanks. I'm not gonna do it. Okay. So what I'm saying is that this is a hard exercise, and 3rd time you do it, maybe they don't want to do it because it's not a nice exercise. It's a good exercise, but it's not really a pleasant exercise. But if the cookie is good enough, they will do it. Let's just take it. No, thank you. Look at the legs. Everything in the core, everything in the center will be pushed to its maximum. The last exercise we will do is just to roll over. Simple, simple, simple. And people think it's a show dog. It's not a circus dog. It's not a crazy dog. I do this because my dog should look pretty. Yeah. This exercise will strengthen this kind of movement. And judging dogs will be looking at them in a straight trot. But the real judge look also how the dog cope with the corners. And if these muscles don't work right, you don't get your right posture, you don't get the right movement when you have to bend in equal positions. So this exercise is actually extremely good. I have a small dachshund at some training at a point, and it was crazy about this. And when we asked it to do it, it just went dit, 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 dit. And everyone wanted to see it, and it was extremely good at this exercise. It could do it over and over and over again, and it loved it. Then we tried to make it a bit more difficult. So we changed the surface to be just a couple of percentages uphill, and it wasn't possible. So if you see this and you have a small climbing hill in your garden or whatever you are, go out, throw yourself at the grass, roll over, and see how easy it is for you. And then try to roll just a little bit uphill. I do it when I have seminars just to ignore some of the participants. So I want them to look silly. So it's an extremely good exercise. So just to roll over. Just to roll over. Do it, do it, do it. How many times should you do this kind of thing? Well, I do it every time I'm out with the dogs walking in the garden, whatever. We can do some small regime. I do it not every day, but more than 2-3 times a week. I do this exercise. And when I'm teaching them, I want to do them more often, and when I have the right structure I want and the right amount of muscle and movement. Motivation is for me a very important thing, because we all should do something. We all have something we don't do, but we should do. But we don't do it because we're not motivated. I should eat healthy, I should move more, but I'm not motivated because I make the food myself and I love it. So it's difficult to make a change because it's lovely, but we should do. And the motivation for men like me will be when they're 55 and the doctors tell them that if you don't do anything, you'll have a bad thing. And that's the thing we got in the picture. This motivation is to keep away from something, to get away from the bad things. The motivation should be to get one of these small daddies here. So the motivation should be to gain muscles, to gain results, to get better, to beat the other guys, to beat the other dogs, just to be the best. So motivation should always be one of these, up there in the one. But a lot of people just go here to have a good time. I'm not very good at that. I'm a very competitive person. Sometimes I clock when I cut my grass to see if I can do it faster than last year, just to be more competitive. Everything is a competition for me. When I get a dog in the clinic, in the vet clinic we have, it's always a competition to do our absolutely best each time. Because if we don't, someone else do it. And if we don't get up on this one on the podium, someone else will do it. And I don't want anyone else to do it. So for me, this is always about winning. And when we win, when we up there, it's good. Tomorrow it's forgotten. So the journey in this is the important thing for me. So the journey about getting better, doing the right thing, eating the right thing for the dogs, not for me, doing the right exercise, having the right coat, having the right behavior in the ring, having the positive posture, having the positive face, being happy about what we do. That should be the motivation. Motivation is always to gain something. Always not to get away from something. I think we should think about that, because a lot of us is doing things because we don't want to do other things. So keep on winning. I have not a lot of more. We have a lot of more exercise, but I didn't want to bring them because it will be difficult to show them, difficult to tell about them. But wherever you come from, wherever you are, if you don't have these, and if you're not doing these kind of things, get some help. We are trying to do some online things, but we're not ready yet. But think about movement, lack of movement. My primary job is the chiropractic work, and the chiropractic work is only about normalize movement. And it's always lack of movement because we have done something. We have been sitting some wrong position. We have done something wrong. It's not possible to make questions because it's in this kind of area, but I did this. And I have a question for all you who is online and who is here. What do you see in the picture? Yes, it's a Bernese Mountain Dog in its cozy bed. And its best friend, the kitten. I want to thank you. If you want more of this, look up in your area who can help you with this. I know a lot of guys if you're from Denmark, so contact us and we will know someone in your area. I want to end up this small speak with a picture of my back, because that's one of the most important things, to have normal movement. And if you don't, this small fucking anatomy train will come and get you. Keep moving. Thank you.
We will have a small break, and at 11:30 we will have Regner from Tales by Regner that will come and talk about how to take good pictures of your dog. She's known for her photos in Canicross and in the hunting dog community and in show dog community. So she gets around in the dog world and is used to taking pictures both in action and more stationary. So she will be here in about half an hour. See you then.
Kæledyr er noget helt specielt. Fra første øjekast til et helt liv sammen. Vi deler alt og er der altid for hinanden. Agria skaber tryghed for dyr og mennesker. Jeg er der for jer, hvis noget går galt. Livslang kærlighed fortjener livslang tryghed.
Nothing to tell when
In about 10 minutes, we have Tales by Ragnar that's coming and talking a bit about how to take good pictures of your dogs, how to take a good photo if your dog is in movement or standing still or whatever. So be here in about 10 minutes time, then we have the speaker. Hello and welcome. We are back here in the main ring. Now we have Tales by Ragnu. She's gonna talk a bit about how to take action pictures of your dog. Welcome.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I'm Ragnu, and today I will talk about how to take action pictures. So first, a little bit about me. I started in the fashion and beauty industry, so I am very used to take pictures of human models, and it's quite different from taking pictures of dogs. And I have been taking pictures of dogs since 2015, and I will talk a little bit about my career and how it started and on how I kind of built up to where I'm at now. I'm a husky mom. I have a 10-year-old husky, and he's the reason why I started to take pictures of dogs. And I have customers from all over the world. I actually also have one from Mexico, and I will be traveling to Asia and also take pictures of dogs there. And the first advice I will give when you take pictures of dog is how to be in a good position, meaning that normally if you take pictures of dogs, you will just stand and then you will take the picture and you will actually see the head first, then you will see a lot of the back of the dog. But if you want to take like a really nice shot of the dog, you have to sit down or maybe actually lie on the ground, so you are at least at the same eye level of the dog. So if you are taking a picture of a Great Dane, I'm not that tall, so for me, I just go a little bit down, then I'm in the same level. But if you take picture of a Chihuahua, you have to be on the ground. So for this picture here, you can see I am sitting down, I'm lowering myself, so I will be in the same level. Jumping, and with the ankle here, I'm in the same level as the dog, and sometimes a little bit underneath that level. And then we will also talk about speed, because it's really different from dogs and how they're moving. But also, if you, for example, with this dog sport, it's bike touring. This dog is moving 35 kilometers per hour, so it's quite fast. And if you don't know how fast the dog is going to run towards you or moving around you, it's really important just to start with dogs there is not that fast, because it can get really overwhelmed. So my best advice is to see how much speed the dog have, but also just take the build up. So you start with the dog, there is moving really slowly, and then you slowly progress to a much faster dog. Then you should also need to know where to focus, and that can be quite a challenge. Some cameras have autofocus, which you can point out to be between the eyes. Normally, I will put the focus to one of the eye or in between, and if the dog is moving in a really different pattern, I will try to aim at the head and not of the paws or the body, because we want to have like a really clear, nice shot of the face expression. And as you can see here, a lot of things is happening. There's lots of movements, but still, if you zoom in, you can see it is really sharp on the eye instead. And then one of the, what do you say, biggest advice I can give is know your limits. Know your limits of your equipment, and also know your limits of yourself. I've been on the field for maybe 8 hours, pouring rain, and actually at some point I was not quite sure that my equipment could stand all the rain, and then I had to push it really bad, and the problem could be that the camera just broke down. It damaged the SD card, so I couldn't have the pictures I have been spending 8 hours on taking. So it's really important to know if you are in a different kind of situation where the weather is really bad, the environment is really bad. It can be on the beach where it's like lots of sand. That can be really hard on your equipment. So you need to know what you have with you and test it a lot, but you also need to test yourself. For example, if I take pictures of puppies, it takes like 1 to 2 hours, and then the puppy will be more adjustable to take the picture. But if you are not really mobile, then you need to train yourself to withstand you being out on the field. I will just see if my clicker will work. Yes. Oh, well, it was one too much. I just need to go back. Oh. There's one between this one and the next one, so I'll just see if it goes. Sometimes the equipment is not that nice. So there is one frame we're missing, and it's about show dogs. Sometimes with equipment, as you can see, we have to know the limits, and when we're doing a presentation, sometimes this is what is happening. So I will just start with talking about show dogs, and I can use this drawing here as well, there is a slide where you will see show dogs and why we actually do this. So you can see the logo down there, and then the arrows going out to the green areas. So when I start to take pictures of dog and really get to experience on how to do it, I started with taking pictures of show dogs, because it's really easy to predict the pattern, how they are moving, because they will run up, then they will make the turn, and there will be like a long distance, and then they will turn again. So as you can see, I put a red sign on where not to take the pictures, and it's because when the dog is running out, you will see the back of the dog, and that is not quite flattering. So that's why I will not try to aim and take the picture there, but when they turn and then they go, then you can have like these really lovely long lines of the dog where you can see the full body. And then also when they make the turn, you can see like it's moving the body, it's really showing the muscle, it's really nice to take it there. And then when it goes up to you, it is in front. So it can be a little bit difficult to actually zoom and shoot the dog when it comes towards you, because sometimes there will be other dogs standing in line, and then they will cover for the views, so you can't really take the shot there. So I started with having show dogs because it's really predictable. You can get lots of really nice experience there, but also because there's lots of the same breeds in the category. So if I wanted to take pictures of beagles, there's like lots of them. I can see how they move. If there is some breed relevant movement there, I need to really adapt and overanalyze for. And then I moved out to taking pictures of hunting dogs, which is quite challenging because they don't have a solid environment. They just lash out, they go around, their pattern is not that predictable, and it's really different from the dogs compared to what kind of hunting they're doing. So you need to really get all this experience to see, is it going like really fast and really strong in the beginning? Is it coming back in so it is not that fast and taking it really slow? So breed is very important to look and actually know a little bit about. And then it is speed. So some will go really fast and some will not. Then I also put the pattern. If it's a dog that goes out in a straight line, you know you can take the shot there. But if it goes out and then turn a lot, you need to know where to position yourself so you can take a really nice shot there. Lights is really important, especially when some of the hunting dogs can be really dark. Then you can really see their features in the face. For example, with this dog, Kleiner Münsterländer, you can see that the light comes behind, so it gives like really nice golden light, but you can't really see the eyes. So that's why we need to go in and Photoshop a little bit so the eyes will pop. Otherwise, the eyes will be in shadow, and then you can't see it. Then you should consider background, because sometimes the dog will blend into the background and it will not showcase the dog that nice. Also, if you have lots of lines in the background, it's not really lovely to see a line go through the dog here or between the eyes, because it kind of cut the dog off. So this was when talking about speed, but also about power. So when you have a hunting dog and you want to start it, you can see it's resting on, it's sitting down, it's resting on the back legs, so the energy and the power is back. But when it's told to just start, you can see it can be kind of clumsy going out because the dog would typically start the movement in the shoulder. It will go into the front paws and it will push the earth, and then the movement be like it will be this kind of thing. So it's not really flattering to take pictures of the dog in the first step they are taking. So as you can see here, it is really closed down. You can't really see the dog and the muscles and how nice it is because it's all clamped together, compared to this picture where there's lots of stress. There is stretching in the full body. You can see all the reach, you can see the power that is really outgoing. And typical with hunting dogs is when you start them, they have lots of power, they have lots of speed. And that's why I want to take the pictures in the beginning, because when they come back, they are more relaxed, they are maybe more trot. Some, of course, will come in really fast, but typical when they are picking up the prey and come back, they will slow down a little bit. So as you can see here, there is still the stretch, long legs, but you can really see the dog's face, and we will really love to have that as well. So I needed to actually move and take the picture either more from the side or in the front, so you can see the expression the dog had. Then I will also talk about canicross, because I started to take pictures of canicross 3 years ago, and it's quite different compared to now you need to take a picture of a human as well. Because when you have show dogs, you will take probably more pictures of the dog than the handler, also because sometimes the owner isn't the handler. So it will only focus on the dog. There will be some legs. So normally I will not focus on take picture of the human. With hunting dogs, there's only the dog because it's loose and you can really put it into nice settings. But with canicross, the human is attached to the dog, so that can be quite challenging if you want to have a crystal clear picture. This picture is taken in Pladron in France last year at the World Championship. And this is Ben Robinson, and he is the world champion, and he came in really fast. And I was actually quite concerned that I couldn't take his picture because his technique, his running technique, but also his speed is really outstanding. And luckily, I had a lot of other runners coming in before him in other categories. So when he came into my frame, I could take his shot, and if you see on the big picture, he is floating. And on the second one, the dog is nearly floating. But as you can see, it was really difficult to have like these long, stretch, powerful shot. Also because I am sitting and taking the picture where it is a turn. When I go out to these huge races, I prefer to be in a turn, so I can see when the dog is coming and goes in and then make the turn. It gives me a little bit more time to actually see the speed, but also to adjust. And when the dog is doing a turn, normally it will slow down a little bit. So for me, I have, instead of 1 second, I might have 4 to 6 second frame before actually the dog is just in and out. So that helps a lot. And this picture is from also Pladron, the first one. It is in the same turn as Ben Robinson. And as you can see, I knew I could take more pictures of Lina and Frida from Team Golden Power. And I know when they will come into the turn that Lina will kind of break a little bit, and then she will make the turn. So that's why I could take the picture of Frida here when she's just being so happy and doing this. And then for the other one, you can see I took it so there's like full length. She's full powerful there. And it's easier for me to take this kind of picture because I know when they start out really powerful, and then I panorama and take the shot where it's really nice in front of me, and not when they are just starting or when they are just moving past me. So I really want to just take it right in front of me. And also something about ankles, because now I needed also to focus on the human. And as I told you, it was quite a challenge for me because I actually was so used to taking pictures of dogs and really focus on taking pictures of dogs and their expression. So for, I guess, maybe 1 or 2 years in doing canicross pictures, I cut the owner from the waist, and sometimes I actually cut off their head as well. And that is not really flattering when you look off the overall picture. So I needed to really exercise and really focus on taking picture of the human as well. And when the dog is running towards you, the dog will be more in front and then the human behind. And depending on the light and the situation where you're taking it, it can be really difficult to take a really sharp picture. So you will focus on the dog, and as you can see here, the human is blurred, and that is super normal. So don't stress out about you don't come home with crystal clear dog and human as well. For one of the pictures, you can see there's a little bit of leg, and you can see the dog is actually attached to the human. So here it tells more a story of he's out running with his dog compared to the other one where you can see the dog, but you can't really see that they are connected. So the second picture could easily just be a picture where the dog is running loose and he's just running behind it. So some of this also teach me how to actually tell the story with all the elements in the picture. So I kind of overanalyze a lot of the things, taking many other things into consideration to how to build up the picture before I actually take the shot. And as you can see here, this is where I talk about where I actually cut off the human. Again, it is all right, but it's not really flattering. You want to have both the dog and the human, but for me, because I have been a dog photographer for so many years, I wanted only to focus on the dog. And you can see the other pictures where there's runners as well, because they run in this group, and I'm so far away from this, they will always be sharp, and that's the difference. If you could have longer distance, it's easier to have sharp elements, but if you only focus on the dog with Frida here, then the person behind, the human behind, will be blurry, and then it's kind of important to where to cut it so it's not like you're chopping off somebody's head. So many people also ask me about what is the easiest way to take front pictures, or is it more easy to take on the side? And I think for me, I don't really like to take front pictures. And the reason is when the dog is running towards you, you see the face expression, you see the chest and the front legs, but you actually don't see the rest of the body, the tail, and for me it's not that strong picture. As you can see with the Kleiner Münzländer, it has really nice face expression, but overall the dog is hiding behind its front, And with the other one, there's a little bit angle, but because it's a black dog, it can be really difficult to see the details. So I prefer to take the pictures from the side and not from the front. But I know like lots of photographers, but also owners really love when the dog is coming towards you and you can see how happy it is. And as you can see for these, I am also low, I'm really on the ground, taking the picture when the dog is coming, running towards me. So if you should take a nice picture from the side, you should really understand that sometimes the dog will see you and be like, "Oh, I want to go over here." So as you can see for this one, he clearly knows that I'm sitting and taking the picture. So when you want to put up this session, you put the owner or maybe a dog handler where the dog is, and then you either throw something or you put a favorite human out, and then you will sit, and then the dog will run towards that, and then you will get like these long, nice stretch. But as you can see here, it can be quite challenging from the dog just to run in a straight line and then not pay any attention to you. If you do the front instead, the dog will run towards you and then the focus will be on you, so it can be easier for them to just go that way instead of it goes and then it has to focus on you as well. So kind of try, experiment, and the more you take pictures of your dog and the more you practice, it will get easier. And I will also talk about jump, because I love when dogs do the jump and you can really see the power, you can really see the movements of it. And you can actually kind of manipulate so the dog will do the actually jump. And it can be either be an obstacle, it can also be if it crosses something it has to jump over that. But normally a dog will go out like with lots of power and it will not do these long stretches. It will just go into reserving the energy a little bit and then it will kind of trot. So to actually get a power shot, or the superhero pose, as I call it, then you need to understand the way the dog is going to move, but also is it a more jumpy breed, or if it's not, then you can put a little obstacle and then the dog will see the obstacle and maybe jump over that. Don't force the dog to do it, because if it jumps naturally, it is more relaxed and it doesn't look so stiff, because I have been out with some people who wanted to do a jumping shot, but the dog was not used to jump and really stretch out, so you can see it kind of restrained its own movements and it didn't really was like a nice shot. For this picture, the superhero pose, I knew this Labrador Retriever was going to jump into water because he trusts the element. So this is also one of the things that I take into consideration. I knew that he was coming down a hill and then he would not stop next to the water. He would just jump straight into it because I know that he loves water. So when he comes down, I kind of estimated how fast he will go, and I try to see where he will jump from, and then I focus on that point, and then I take the shot. And for me personally, I think when you are taking pictures of dogs in movement, I think it's kind of cheating when you take 12 or 24 pictures per second. I take one shot, and so for me it's more like a sniper kind of thing I do. So I look at the dog and then I take it where I think it's going to be really nice. So for this one, I knew he would jump 2 times because he will first, when he hit the water, he would jump and then he would land because he knew the lake, and the lake was really low, it was not that deep. So he would jump an extra time, so you can also see that's why he's so wet on the belly and the stomach. So instead of taking the first shot where he just touched the water, I wanted him to float more out, so that's why you can also see he has spin in the water, and that can be like really nice movement if all the water sticks to him, and then when he goes out again, the water will be around him and really nice covering up. As you can see for the background, he is yellow, so this background is not really the best for him because there is like lots of things happened in the background. So I would much prefer just a green or brown background so he doesn't blend into it. But again, sometimes when you're just out there, you can't really change the background, you can't really change nature. That's why it's really important to go around, put yourself in a position where you can see everything there's happened around the dog. So both in the front and also behind and on the side, because if there was lots of vegetation next to this water, the dog would probably not go straight into the water. It will try to go around it, and then the pattern would be shifting, so you had to move. And this lake was quite big, so I hadn't had the time to go around. I had one position, and then I just hoped that the dog was going straight into this line. And when he came down to the water, I could see where he was going and hope that he wanted to jump at that point where I pointed out. This one here, you can see when it's in training session, the handler is pointing out where the dog is supposed to go, and that is quite easy for me because then I can see where the dog is directed to. And that is much more easier. So if you are starting to take action pictures, you should start with something that is easy to just get lots of practice in. It can be show dogs, it can be this, for example, when it's a dog that is well trained and there is certain lines it has to go out. So he's directing the dog, and I know when he goes like this, he will go in this line here. And I didn't take this shot for the first time he steps out. As you can see, he is lying down. So when he's going off, he will do like this push really hard, goes into the shoulder. His energy will be shifted, so he will tend to lean forward, and that will not be really nice picture for him. But then he steps, and then he jumps again and do this power move, and then is where I take the shot, because then I know that he will stretch full out, and I think that is so much more flattering compared to being this little pile of fur ball that you saw from some of the other. So I'll just see if I can see one of the other slides that was behind and explain a little bit more about this one with show dogs. So right now I want to give you some tools so you can apply to, for example, now we are at the EDS and how to take good pictures in the ring. Because you know your breed, you know your dog, so start there. And in this where we are right now, there's quite nice lighting. Sometimes we are out with show dogs where it's not really nice lighting or it's real difficult lighting. So lighting is really important, especially for movements compared to if you want to take still pictures. So start with some of the outdoor shows where there is lots of sun, and then really focusing on where you should position yourself so it's more flattering for the dog and where you can see it's going to move, but also know if some of the dog maybe maybe it can be difficult for some of the dogs to actually just run really nice. So if you want to take that dog out of the ring, find a really nice green spot where the background really gets the dogs to pop out. And you can also consider to take the shot where it's quiet and really focus on the dog just to move a little bit back and forth. And then the dog will relax a little bit more. And then you can take and practice there. And as you can see, for me, I really want to have an opportunity where I can see how the dog is moving. So instead of having a really narrow position, I try to put myself in a position where I can at least see the dog move 10 meters, because when it comes into my frame, I can see the speed is going to move, and then I can see how it is moving, if it kicks a lot, or if it's just taking small steps, or if it's jumping around, or if it's nervous, or it's really powerful. So I use probably the first 1 to 2 meters to focus on the dog, see and read what it's going to do, and then it would move, and then it will come, so it's just right there in front of me, and then I will try to take the shot there. Then I will try to take a second shot when it just has passed me, but it will typically be the first one just in front of me I will try to take. And it can be really difficult. As you can see, there is some errors also when the dog is coming and running past you, and it's because the handler will be between you and the dog. And I'm very used to take pictures of Great Danes, and even though you have a Great Dane that's quite big, if the handler is between you and the dog, the legs and the human is covering the dog, and it's not really showcased at all. So that's why my best advice for taking pictures in the ring is actually when they run down, don't take it from behind, but when they do the turn, you can see the dog is doing the turn, it's more relaxed there, and then you have the long, and then it turn again, and then people will come maybe with the dogs in front of you, so you have to take the shot where it has turned first. And also when they come in and have the dog to stand or put on the table, I will try to move around and take the picture there. So you can see maybe some face expression, you will zoom in, so I will take full body pictures, but I will also close down and take pictures of the face and the expression. So I will also talk a little bit about this one, because with the hunting dogs, it is really important to understand like some prey is quite heavy. For this one, it's a male and he's used to carry like heavy prey. But I took pictures of a dog where it's a quite small female, and she wanted to bring home the prey, but it was quite heavy for her. So when she went out, took the prey, she was struggling a lot, and she was actually running backwards to the cameras. So it was not really nice shot, but it was also really difficult to me to actually take a lovely one of her, so I had to go around and try to take it from the other side. And then we actually also tried to redo the shot and give her like a small prey that was not quite heavy. So there's lots of things to consider when you want to take pictures of your dog in action. And I think it's most important that you know your equipment, you know your limits, but you also put up kind of an image what you want to take before you actually go out and take it. So you overanalyze some of the situation maybe, but it will really help you. And I always compare taking pictures of dogs with dog training, because a lot of people come up to me and say, what camera should I use? What about the settings? What can I do to take better pictures? And I use a Sony, but I could also have used a Nikon or a Canon, and it doesn't really matter. But because I have a Sony, I really try to use all the buttons in different kind of weather and different kind of situation. Because when you take pictures of moving objects, let's see, here, you only have 1 to 3 seconds to actually freeze the picture. So you should not be in a learning situation where if it matters. So when I go out to races, I have already practiced this kind of speed before. I kind of know this breed as well, how it's going to move. And I use sometimes the first 5 to 10 dogs to measure how fast they're going to pass me. So when the other dogs are coming, it's easier for me to take a really nice shot, but also see if the dog is jumping, if it's taking it slow, and all these kind of things. So yeah, I'll just go for the checklist. So position, really, really important. Position yourself, but also where are the dog going to move? But also, how about the pattern? Are you in a good position if it comes in from one of the side or this side, or if it's turning and anything? So really work on where you are going to sit, where you're going to point the camera, and actually also where you're thinking the dog is going to be. So position yourself, position the dog, if it's possible. Speed, measure it, see what kind of different dog sport you're taking pictures of, but also what different kind of breeds you're taking picture of, and then take lots of pictures of them. See them where they are kind of restrained, when they have leashes on, and how they're moving in groups, but also see them where they're running free and when they are playing. Because if you want to take pictures of puppies are all over the place. They don't really know their body yet, so they will just be jumping a lot around and be happy and do the small turns and spin. So take your time, see how they're going to move and how fast they're going to move. So don't stress it if dog is coming in and being quite slow and then just be super powerful. Learn where your focus points is, and also it's really important when you have a really good equipment or your phone, you put up the focus point and see, I want to focus here, I want to focus here, and then practice that. Because sometimes if the dog is running towards you, the focus point is a little bit further out compared to if it runs in a straight line next to you. So you have to understand where to aim and where to focus, but also with this dog where it has a dark head, it can be quite challenging to actually focus on dark fur. So really try to see if you can have the experience on a white dog, on a brown dog, and a black dog, because it's different with the focus point, and it's different from your equipment to the actual dog. And then, yeah, know your limits. If you want to take pictures of maybe a core dog when it's running like super, super fast, then maybe start where the dog is just walking, see how it moves and how fast, and then slowly build up so it's easier for you to analyze that. So when the time comes where it's crucial you take the picture, you know when to take it. But also know the limits of your equipment and know the limits of yourself. If you have no experience in it, you can probably take a really good shot. But for me, when I go out and take pictures, I take 500 pictures, and 450 pictures is super sharp in focus. So some of the work I also do is that I want to take the pictures so I don't have to delete a lot of pictures or edit a lot of pictures. So I try to do the preparation, and then I take the shot, and then I do a little bit afterwards with the editing, but mainly is my focus to prepare a lot. I prepare 70%, so I know the surroundings, I know all the things I can come into play, and this situation can be difficult, but I'm trying to adapt to it. Then I take the actual shot. So I'll just see, I'm not quite sure why it will not take the last of this, but I hope you got some advice and you could use some of these things. It is quite different from taking pictures of only dogs and then dogs with humans, as you can see. And this one here, you can see what I talked about with the background. The one on the beach, there is a line going through the dog and actually cutting half of the face off. So even though it's blurred, it is still there. So for me, when I have a strong visual eye, I don't think it's really pleasing to actually have a line going straight through the dog's head compared to the other one where it's blurred and nice all around. So I use the surroundings to actually make the dog pop even more instead of trying to create these lines in it. So next time I go on the beach and will take this picture here, I will try to put the horizon either next to the paws, so I don't cut it from a virtual point, or I will try to lower the horizon or put the horizon above the dog so it can stand out a little bit more. As you can see here, there's also a line in this picture, but I think it's all right because it doesn't go into a virtual part, and it's blurry, so it's not that dominant in this picture. Yeah, so this was what I have, and you are very welcome to text me on social media if you want the presentation. I put in some notes there as well. And if you want to talk about pictures, even though it's action pictures, stills, how to do different kind of things with your camera or with your phone, I am reachable, and you can just contact me. I love to talk about dogs, and I love to talk about taking pictures. So please reach out to me on social media, and I will also be available during today. So just come and say hello, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you to Ragnar. It was such a nice to learn a bit more about taking photos of your dogs. Now we have a small break. At 1 o'clock we will start with the AKR winners. We start with the best baby and continue from there. At 3 o'clock we have an opening ceremony. And from after that the junior handling will go on, and so on. We will continue all the way through the European Dog Show. So see you back here at 1 o'clock.
Hey!